Hello, beautiful soul, and thank you for joining me again. I totes appreciate it. Now, I must confess, I am super excited to chat with today's guest. We first met 8 years ago, which is actually crazy, but I've loved and adored her ever since our first meeting. Not only is she an Olivier Award nominated superstar, but she is also one of the most beautiful people you could ever meet. It's Maiya Quansah-Breed. How are
Hello,
you?
my angel. I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. It's so nice to see you. It's been. When was the last time I actually saw you?
Genuinely, this is awful, but I can't remember. Like, I don't.
I
I
feel.
think it's been like a good couple of years, maybe like pre-COVID.
Yeah, I feel like it was. Was it King's Cross Station or something? We were at a station together.
Probably.
I swear that's the last time I can remember seeing you. I think I was doing that like really random Christmas panto actually.
Probably. Like, it's been a
So
very long time because obviously you went off on the ship. Like, I've come back home. Like,
yeah.
we're not even in the same like city, town, state, province
Yet.
yet.
Yet. There is plans for me to move there because you're based in good old Manchester, aren't you?
Manchester.
Are you going to Manchester Pride? Did you ever go to Manchester
Do you
Pride?
know what? Ugh, I've still not been. That's terrible, isn't it? That's awful.
Well, I'm going to go. I think this year.
Oh my god, if I can come.
Because yeah, because do you know when you say that's awful? I've actually never been to Pride. That's awful. Ever. Point blank.
Point blank.
Ever.
But me, do you know what though? I did a vigil at Pride like was I like 17? I think I was 17. I was still at college, but that's the only time I've ever been
Go
to
on.
Pride. And every single year, without fail, which is a great thing, but I'm always working the bank holiday, so I can never go. I've never been to London
Well, it's not.
Pride. I've always walked past it and been like, this looks so much fun.
There's loads. And then Brighton last year had Christina Aguilera.
See, this is what I
Was
mean.
it last year or the year before? Might have been the year before, I don't know. But yeah, Manchester Pride is in August. I've already looked at the date, so I'm definitely like planning on coming up. So I'll see you then.
Yeah, let's do it.
Crazy, crazy. So let's just get like started with the ball rolling, right? Let's just talk about six for a hot second. Because why not? So I actually remember when me and you were at drama school together, you were in my garden in I think third year like uni house, and you had actually dropped the bomb that you had got the part of Catherine Parr in six.
Did I?
Right? Yeah, I remember. And at the time, it was like this fringe show that like people knew about. I think you had to be in theatre to really know about it. But then it like kind of became this whole machine. Like
telling me.
did you even expect that to happen?
Well, no, do you know what? Like, we had no idea what was going to happen. We just knew that like we loved what we were doing and we were having fun while doing it. But like, don't get me wrong, like there was no inkling that that was going to, like, genuinely, right? When we got to Edinburgh, like before then we'd been to Norwich and Cambridge. And the thing is, everybody who came to see it like loved it. But we got to Edinburgh, and on like our first like, because it was like, you know, like the preview sort of thing that they do like in the first like week when everyone's still setting up, we performed to like 3 or 4 people. Like, genuinely.
Joking.
Like at Edinburgh Fringe in
really?
the Purple Cow. Like, we were giving it 6 to no one. But they loved it. Like, don't get me wrong, like those 3, 4 people were giving energy. Like, they loved it.
They're living their life.
But like, we're giving it
the OG6.
We're giving it like there's more people on stage than there was in the audience, and there's only 10 of us on stage at all times. So just picture that. So we didn't, but like it was Amy who like said to us like when we were in rehearsal, she was like, "This is going to be something." Like Amy kind of like always knew. Amy had like a sense about it. Whereas I feel like with me, because I was like so fresh, so bushy-tailed and bright-eyed, like I just was just enjoying what I was doing. I didn't even really like realise what it was going to become. And then it wasn't until we got the news about like obviously going to the West End, like doing like a stint in the West End after the tour. And we found out in the October. And that was kind of like after the West End, after Edinburgh, when like Edinburgh like became like it blew up at Edinburgh, like then it was the show that you couldn't get a ticket to after nobody came.
Went from free.
After it was like
3 to sold out.
It was the show you couldn't get a ticket to. And then when we got to London, because like the producer was saying that we really hope that Edinburgh goes well, because we're hoping that it like creates like velocity for London, and boy did it. And obviously we came to London, and London was epic. We were there for like 8 weeks, and then we obviously went back out on tour, and then we returned back to the West End in the January. And I remember, I think it was like the February time. So I'd been doing it, but like about 8 months by that point. And I remember it so clearly. We were sat in the dressing room. I just remember it so clearly, sat there, and it was like something just erupted. I can't even explain to you. I remember turning around to the girls and saying, "Is there something in the water?" Because like there was like people like screaming, crying in the foyer, like wanting us to sign everything. Like people couldn't even speak to me. They were shaking. Like I was like,
really?
Yeah, it was wild. And I was like, what? Like we had to get like security. Like it was crazy, honestly. Like I laugh, but it was mental. And I just remember thinking, like, what have we done? What have we done?
What have we done to these poor people? These poor people just want to be entertained, and now they're shaking, crying.
Yeah, and what I couldn't get my head around is obviously I was still so young at the time. I was 21, and then like the Oliviers came about, like the nomination for the Oliviers came about, and then there was like nominations for like other awards. Then there was we did ITV, we did this, we did that. It was just like all these like things that were like
everywhere.
Well, to be fair, we did the ITV just before we went into the West End, but it was just kind of like we got onto this like conveyor belt, or like not even conveyor belt, it's more like a treadmill, and it was just like someone was like pressing up the speed, and we were just like, oh my gosh, what is happening? But like all amazing, because like it's one of those moments where like now I get to sit back and look and go, I did that.
Yeah, you did.
And it wasn't until I went back last year to do the filming, because little did anybody know, but the filming was like in the works for like 2 years. Like in 2020, I got the call to say that we want to do a pro shot, like, and this was like 6 months after I finished the contract. And then obviously lockdown came, and then it was like, oh, it's going to happen in 2021 this time. And then it didn't happen. Then it was going to be, oh, it's going to happen in September. Oh, do you know what I mean? The ball kept moving. So I knew about this for so long. And then it was in the December 2021 that we got the thing of being like, it's happening in June. It will be happening. Like, we're doing Hampton Court. Like, this is, like, the contracts are coming through. And I was like, wow. And I had this moment of like, I'm going back. Like, I'm going to do it again. And I had like, an existential crisis, a meltdown, I don't know what you want to call it, because I just didn't, obviously lockdown did a lot for people, like just for my like confidence in general. It like, like obviously I know I worked and did amazing, like I got to do like Mimi and Rent, which was like passion project, amazing, made me feel fantastic about myself.
Which was amazing, by the way. I cried my eyes out watching that.
Me too.
Literally, I remember sat here, literally a ball of mess. I think I sent you a picture actually. I was like, this is what you've done to me. Thank you very much.
But like, don't get me wrong, I did amazing things, but like on the other side of it, like my confidence was like rock bottom in a way, because I was like, well, in particular with Six, because I'd created something so singular in that moment that I was like, can I recreate that? Can I do that again? And then like 2 months before we started, so in like the like April, I started like training my body to get ready to do it again. And it was one of the best things I ever did for myself. Like I started having singing lessons with Elisa, like she helped me so much. Like I was like going on runs. I don't run. I don't know what happened, but I don't run, and I ran. Like I was going to the gym. I was getting myself fit for the job. And I'm telling you now, when I went back, I was the best version of myself in that moment, in that job. And I was so proud of myself. And I would never usually say this, but like, I was so proud of what I'd managed to it's not even recreate. I managed to create something new and something different, and I felt so different, and it was like a journey of healing. It really was. And I got to the end of the contract, like not even the end, like 2 weeks into rehearsals, and we did this thing every morning. We had an amazing company manager called Sanita. And every morning we'd do like a gratitude circle, and we'd say how we're feeling that day, and we'd obviously just like gauge with everybody. And it was really helpful, because like some days you just like, do you know what, today I'm having a rubbish day. Like I didn't sleep well, and then the other days was like, I'm feeling great today. I've got loads of energy. Like I'm ready to get going. And it was a really great way to start the day. And I remember we got to the Friday, like just before Hampton Court, like doing the dress runs and stuff. And that morning we were like doing like a little reflection, and I was just like, I couldn't even like get my words out. Like I was crying so much, just being like thanking everyone for like this like journey of like pure and utter like healing that I'd been on. I just can't even describe it. Like I thought that like I'd like, not like, I don't mean like put Six to bed in a bad way, but I mean as in like your contract ends, and do you know what I mean? Like
it's finished.
Yeah, it's finished. Like I'd mentally like put it to bed. Like I'd done my bit. Like, do you know what I mean? I was ready to pass the baton on and watch other amazing people do it. And obviously like Danielle Steers came into the West End after I did, and like obviously made the role completely different on her own, and completely smashed its back doors in. I mean, like I was so ready to like move on, and I'm so glad I did. Don't get me wrong, because I wouldn't have been able to create other stuff that I did. But then going back, like I know it's not stupid, but like older, wiser, and in a much better like place physically, mentally, emotionally, because obviously the burnout is a real thing. Like when you're in a contract, like burnout is so real, and we don't often talk about it enough and the effects of burnout.
Not even just physical, but like mental, spiritual. Like there's so many different forms of burnout.
Exactly, and I feel like I went through a magnitude of those during that contract. So then coming out of it, being 3 years older, it had a profound effect on the way I performed.
Do you think like the role itself, getting ready for the role, was the whole catalyst of that, or would you reckon you were kind of going through a momentous change personally that kind of aligned at the same time?
I think it did align at the same time. I think I was like, it was like I was like shifting into like fifth gear of like getting myself ready, but I didn't realise that the effect it had on me personally as well. Like I thought like, oh, I'm just doing this to get ready to go back to Six. Do you know what I mean? Like I just thought like, but I didn't realise that the groundwork that I put in beforehand had a payout much larger than just Six. Wow. It was the best 6 weeks of my life.
Do you know what, that is it's really inspiring, because that's one thing I'd say, like when, especially as a creative and a performer particularly, there are sometimes certain roles or certain experiences that really evolve your spirit.
I've learned and realised that I always leave a little bit of me on the stage.
Like shedding skin.
Yeah, I always want to leave a little bit of me. Like I always want to feel that I've given it my all. Like there's no more I could possibly give. Like I've filled every sandbag. I've touched every audience member in a way that they've felt evoked by something I've done, or do you know what I mean? I always want to feel like I've given so much that maybe to my own detriment, I don't know, but like I want to pour so much into that cup, because the one thing that the one thing that I still find crazy, and like getting my head around, is that like, you know, when we were younger and we used to look up to these people and we used to idolize these people and be like, I aspire to be like them or whatever, or they inspire me and all these things. But when I get people coming up to me that are now saying that I do that for them, and I've got them into wanting to perform, or I've got them into wanting to create work, like it's one, incredibly humbling, but two, incredibly wild, because I'm like, I never thought I'd be in that position where I am in a position of inspiring.
But you definitely inspired me though. I would always say you had this thing called like silent grafter. Like you were like someone who had such I do, because you were one of those people that you just work so freaking hard, like work so hard, but you made it look so easy. So people never knew that. I genuinely always thought that about you, mate. I was always like, she's a silent grafter. Like, yeah, you've got such grit and determination. I love it. It is inspiring, but you've also got such an inspiring like personality, I'd say. I just love, you've such a good aura, babe. Such a good aura. Yes. It's all right, you can pay me later.
Honestly. I'll put you on the back row.
But I can see that you do give 110% in everything you do, like especially as a performer, like you give it everything.
Yeah.
And it's always really inspiring.
I always try to, because I think that you never want to leave, I feel like, when you are working on a character, like you never want to leave like any stone unturned, do you know what I mean? I wish I could bring that into my personal life. I wish I could bring that into me.
But then it's different, because you have a different. I think when you work and your life, there are two separate things in your brain. Sometimes I do think that.
No, I don't disagree with that. I think you're right. You do. I feel like you do. It's like having like a split personality. It's like you kind of like one thing when you work and one thing when you're at home. Like, or like you have like your different faces, don't you? And it's how you
show up in the world.
Sometimes,
like, who am I? Who am I? Also the fandom for Six is wild, isn't it?
Yes.
Is it still wild for you now?
Not so much now. But still, like, people who are like fiercely supportive, which is like so wonderful, because like I never thought that people would like. I know this is also, maybe it's like imposter syndrome thing, but I didn't think that people would like me outside of Six, if that makes sense. Like, I thought that people would only like me because I was in Six. But like I said, that's like a
yeah, no, I get that imposter syndrome, and that's very normal, I think, for a lot of people.
It was outside of that, when I did do other projects and do other things, that people still wanted to support me and still wanted to see what I was doing and keep up to date with what I was doing, even outside of Six. Obviously, I will always be a part of Six. It will always be a huge part of me. I grew up on that job. I don't think I don't think it's as crazy anymore, because obviously, like, I think the social media side has like calmed down a lot, just because of the way we use social media now. I think is different to how it was even like a year ago. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
so like,
yeah,
it has changed, and also my relationship with social media has changed a lot. So it does change with like how I communicate with, like, not even just like fans, but just like friends as well. Do you know what I mean? Like,
how did you cope with that kind of, because you got quite a significant boost of social media on social media. How did you cope with that at the time?
I struggled at the beginning, I'm not gonna lie to you, like, completely candid. I didn't know how to transition between like having just like my family and friends on social media to then having like all these people that like I didn't know, and they were telling me that they loved me and just wanted to know everything about my life. Like, I felt I was just so like, oh.
Because didn't I remember that? Because obviously you've got your partner, Jack. You've been with him for a long time. I swear I don't remember you hadn't told anyone about Jack. Obviously, your friends knew who he was, and I swear you went on holiday and someone found a picture and worked out who Jack was. Have I made that up? Did I dream that?
I don't know.
Like, it was really crazy. It's a crazy story.
There's probably some truth in it somewhere. They probably like.
Did you go to Poland? Have I made that? Did you go to Poland together?
I think it was when we went to. That's what it was. I think I got told it.
Wow, my memory.
Yeah. Oh my god, that was crazy.
I don't know how that happened.
Yeah, it was. I can't even remember who it was or how. I can't remember at all. But it was mine and Jack's first year anniversary, and
that was it.
We'd not told anybody we were going away, not posted about it. And Jack, I think at the time had like, I think he just turned his like account like private, or like, I can't remember what he did. So whatever he did is, I think he posted a picture on his Instagram, but at that time I don't think I'd like posted him like loads on my social media, or I can't remember really. And I think he put it on, and I think I deleted it because I was like, no, I don't want anyone like that. No, I just want this to be yours.
Stop.
Because what I was finding difficult was separating myself from like my social media, if that makes sense. It was kind of like taking over my life. So those like few days that we had away, I just wanted to be present. So I didn't really pick up my phone. I just kind of had it in my bag the whole time. Like, didn't really go on it. And then the one time that we did,
God, you're good. I'm addicted. I can't.
See, I am now, but like but it was. I just wanted to like put it away and just have like some like downtime. And the one time he goes on his phone, and then the one time I got my phone, it was like someone had like posted like, hope you're having a great time in Poland, and I just literally went, I was like, whoa. What? Like, I can't remember who it was, but it made me go like, oh my god, like, I've not even been on my phone, and I'm not even in the country, like, but literally. But it all comes, but like at the time I didn't realise it all does come from a place of love. Like, I think I was just so overwhelmed that I didn't realise like it was coming from such just a place of like love and just wanting to support me and things like that. And I think it was just because I didn't know how to handle it.
No, but I don't think anyone's equipped for that, because I think when you start getting idolised, that's just not normal.
Yeah.
Because I think we're also programmed as people to find the flaws in ourselves, because that's just how we are.
Yeah.
Like, we've got that subconscious mind going through. So when you've got people idolising you, it's like, what? Like, you don't go through life and people going, oh my god. I mean, some people do if you're J-Lo.
Yeah.
J-Lo.
Yeah.
But reality of it is that doesn't happen. So I think when it happens on social media, it's a lot. It's like a lot to handle.
Yeah, and what I struggled, I think, with the social media thing as well, because obviously it did like kind of like rise overnight, was the like, how much do you share? Like, what is too much and what is not enough? Like, what is that happy medium of sharing the stuff that you want to share, but then trying to hold things back for yourself? And I think me personally, I think at first, I think I gave like I said, I gave so much of myself, not only just on stage, but just like over social media as well, that I just had nothing left for myself. And it was that was my kind of burnout. And then I ended up having to have like a bit of like a social media break, because what I found with like Instagram and Facebook and all of the apps, I was so accessible outside of work as well, not just in work, but outside of work. And because Six had such a fan base that spanned like globally, like I'd be getting messages like all hours of the night. Like I'd get home from work and I wanted to give a little piece of myself to everybody, but then I realised that it's just not feasible. Like it was impossible to keep up, and I bogged myself down, and I made myself like really sad about it, because I felt like I couldn't give enough to everyone. Do you know what I mean? Like it made me sad that I felt like I was giving like a mediocre version of myself. So then I kind of had to do like a bit of like a complete step back and a kind of a bit more of like a reset, because then in that way I was able to connect more with people, and I ended up being better at stage door and being, do you know what I mean? Like I was able to be a lot more grounded after I'd had like a bit of like a social break. Because I just got so like wrapped up in it. Like I'd be on my phone, like I'd get home from work and I'd be on my phone till like 4 o'clock in the morning, like answering messages. Do you know what I mean?
Social media is not social media anymore. It's like business media.
Yeah.
Like the face of your social media is not like, oh, gone to the chippy with my mates down to the pub or whatever. Like it's now like
post a picture of my new shoes.
Yeah, do you know what I mean? Like it's so weird now, and I know you don't use TikTok, but that's probably one of the reasons why I like TikTok, because I just think it's really scrappy and really real.
Yeah.
A little bit more less.
Yeah, I'm not on TikTok.
You know?
The reason being is because Instagram Reels are addictive enough.
Oh no, yeah, I'm 100%. I'm the same. I had to put like an app blocker on my phone because I would spend hours just scrolling through, and like you get to the point where you're like, I don't even know I'm doing this. It just subconsciously just scrolling. Yeah. It's literally wild.
It's addictive, and I look up and I've lost like 2 hours, and I'm like, if I had TikTok, I'd be 10 times worse. Like, so I've just like made a decision not to go on it. I just can't, because I will get into
enough.
the whole...
I feel like you will go on it though eventually. I do think you will though, because it's such a good platform. I do think it's amazing.
I can't.
So now, obviously, you said that Hampton Court was such a personal experience for you of a transformation. Do you feel like you've continued that on since that whole performance? Obviously, after Hampton Court, you said you had quite a big transformation with that production. Has that continued for you since doing the show?
I think it made me realise that like life isn't linear. It's very deep. In the sense that I was like riding this like such like a high, like just like personal like life stamp markers, like, you know, you just don't forget. And then like after I did Hampton Court, I then did Secret Garden at the Palladium, which was another like, oh my god, I can't believe this is my life. And then my life came to humble me so fast, because before I knew it, I was back at home sweeping my floor like Cinderella and dusting. Like, do you know what I mean? I was like, I can't believe I was at the Palladium last night, and now I'm like sweeping my kitchen. Like, and then after then, I didn't work for 4 months, and I kind of had this like, it was just like a really difficult period of like struggling. Like I really like struggled during that time, and it got to like December, and I kind of had to like give myself a bit of like a kick up the bum and just basically be like, when do you get to like be at home and enjoy Christmas and be with your family and all this things? So I kind of just was like, turn this around. But before then, I got myself in like a real rut. And like, you know, like before we were having like a mini catch up, I was saying like, you know, you don't think you can like get any like lower. I was like finding new depths to this pit.
Yeah.
And I didn't know how to get myself out of it. I couldn't scramble my way out of it. Like it was like it was like me versus me completely, and nobody could help me. And it was like I was the only person who was going to be able to get me out of this. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, no, defo. When the highs are high, they're high. The highs are high, they're high. When the highs are high, they're high. When they're low, they're low. And that is a really weird thing to kind of navigate on, I think, a lot of the time.
Yeah, and I think that's where like a lot of like the imposter syndrome side of it comes from, because like at 1 minute you're doing so well and everything's going really well, and But I think for me, and maybe not even just me, but like most artists, like we put so much validation in our work.
Mm-hmm.
So like we don't feel valued unless we're doing what we love to do.
Yeah.
So when we're not doing it, we are like, well, we're worthless. That's it. Well, we're not doing what we're supposed to be doing. And you kind of, then you feel lost, and then you get in your head, and then you start punishing yourself, and then you overthink everything, and it's just like spiral season. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's just like you before you know it, you've got yourself into a place and you don't even know how you got there.
Yeah, it's that freelancer bubble though, especially in the creative world and like theatre in particular. Like I think we define ourselves so much by our job role, especially as performers, because we have to sacrifice so much to do that job. You know, a lot of our lives, this is something I struggled with quite a lot, and trying to get a balance of is like, how much do I stifle my actual life for this job? That's so 1 minute here, the next minute not. It's a really hard thing to navigate through. And then when you haven't got that opportunity and you're sat there like, what am I doing in my life? Why am I, running around trying to get a little 0-hour contract job that I can't get annual leave on, I can't get sick pay if I'm actually ill, and I'm just literally making ends meet for a job that actually may never come again, or if it does come, it only lasts for a very fleeting moment. Do you know what I mean? And it is a really, really hard thing to do and to get your head around, because like you said, you do put your own validation into your job role.
Yeah, 100% you do, and it's finding something else that you feel valued in outside of being creative.
Or recognise that you're bigger than your actual job, that you are more than your job.
Yeah, 100%. That statement in itself, you are more than your job. Like, you are so much more than the job you do. Like, so much more. But like, it is amazing that I can like leave like a footprint with the job I do, but I just want to do that as a person. I want to do that as a human being.
You do though, May. You do it naturally without even thinking about it. No. Like, I haven't seen you for ages, and I thought, oh, who do I want to have a chat with? And I was like, just you. Not because of any, like, obviously it's great you've done Six and stuff, but it's because you are such a lovely energy. Do you know what I mean? You're such a wonderful person.
No, God, so are you.
No, but it's am I?
No, you're not. See, we're doing it again. We can't take compliments like that. Yeah.
No, I can't take compliment. But this is your time. I'm hosting your meeting. But I do think that,
all
like,
right, I'll take it.
you got such a lovely aura, and I think that is bigger than anything. That's bigger than Six, because at the end of the day, like, those jobs are great, but like, time passes, not linear, but it does pass.
Yeah.
And you'll always be you, and that is the blessing you've given the world. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, and I think another thing that, like, I'm still learning and still like, because obviously, like, it's all about the journey, it's all about the growth. You're never going to stay the same. You're ever evolving. Yeah. And I think the beauty of that is that, like, I'm still learning how, like, I let things affect me, if that makes sense. Like, I have the power of how I react to a certain thing. Like, I have the power and the magic to overcome, to deal with, to source. Do you know what I mean? Like, that's all comes from within me. And I think I'm still on that journey of, like, say, if I get stressed, like, how do I deal with stress? Can I deal with it different from the last time that I got stressed? Like, if I get ill, like, do I have a different mindset? Can I change my mindset when I'm feeling like that? Like, how do I listen to my body? Am I gonna, like, because obviously I know something, obviously we get like busy life syndrome, don't we? Just with everything, you get wrapped up, you get that, your perception gets warped and everything, and your body 99.9% of the time is telling you exactly what you need to know, and you just need to listen. You just need to take a second and you just need to listen. And for so long, and so many times in my life that I don't listen, and then I get humbled in the hardest way possible, and I'm like, that old chestnut again. Do you know what I mean?
It's what Oprah calls the life whispers. You don't listen to the life's whispers, and then when you don't listen, they'll literally knock you over the head until you've got the message.
This is what I mean. It's
true.
It's so very true. That journey, and I think I'm still. But then that is just the realization of just like going through. I feel like just like your like mid-20s in general. Like,
that is what this podcast is about.
Yeah,
it's about the fact that it's not going to be perfect, and like, we all want to move, we all want to grow. That's wonderful, and that's amazing that people are also attuned to that more, of like how much they have more power over their selves than they actually have thought in the past, or their life. But like, Rome wasn't built in a day, babe. Do you know what I mean?
Rome took time, you know. And we are like
I mean?
Rome. I'm going to be ancient in stone, darling. Trust. I'm going to be around for a long time. And
Exactly.
a good time too. Do you know what I mean?
Every day you're learning as you go along. Like
exactly. And I think I know it sounds like silly, but you do think that like learning stops, but it really doesn't. Like you continue to learn, you continue to grow as a person. Like, but like I said, like sometimes I do a bit of cha-cha in life. Like I'll take like 10 steps forward and then I take 11 back and I'm back where I started. I do a bit of the hokey cokey, do you know what I mean? Like put your left foot in, your right foot out, do you know what I mean?
Out.
Like I do have those moments, but I'm learning to forgive myself because I'm not alone in that. And I think it is just that matter of just accepting that you're not always going to be on top of the world. Do you know what I mean? Sometimes you feel like you're holding the world, but also it's making me realize that like every problem, everything that you go through and everything that you experience is so singular. Like it's not permanent, it's temporary.
Yeah.
And like I said, the way you are able to deal with that scenario or that situation is growth in itself. But like, let me tell you now, I'm still a hot mess. I'm still a hot mess.
Babe, I am the king of hot messes, I tell ya. But the thing is as well, it's funny because you said in our pre-chat, we were talking about the fact that obviously you've got another job lined up, haven't you, Lizzie, which is really exciting, which does sound really cool, by the way.
Thank you.
But you were like, people messaging me like being like, oh my God, you're always booked and blessed. But what they don't see is the bit in between, right? Yeah. Do you know what I mean? And this is what I think general, that's like a life thing, not even just in our theatre world. People just don't, they see all the like the highlight reels on Instagram, but they don't see the in-between bits, the dark days, the low times, the hustle, the graft, all of that. And I think we forget that like people's journey is messy. Do you know what I mean? People make mistakes. People, but we only see what we need to see. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, you only present what you want to show. You don't want to show everybody. Yeah. But maybe we need to start doing that. Maybe we need to start doing that because then it makes us seem more tangible. It makes us seem more human. It doesn't make it everything so perfect because, like, the reality of it is, like, I worked earlier this year for 3 months and I'm not working again until August. So I've only worked half of the year, 6 months apart. So it's what I'm doing in that time and and how I'm fulfilling myself in those months that I'm not working. Yeah. And it's that part that we don't speak about. Sometimes it does feel very isolated and very lonely, but you really are not alone. There are so many people out there and we just don't share it enough, like that side of it. We just, it's like taboo. It's like we don't need to share it, we'll just share the highs. But I think the highs are just important as the lows. I
feel like we brush it with the whole like, oh, it's just hard streak. And it's just hard. We don't actually get to the nitty gritty of it. Yeah. We don't actually get to the bottom of the crux of it, what actually everyone's dealing with, you know, because I'm sure everyone has that moment of being like, what am I doing in my life? Or like, will I ever work again? You know, and that's not just in theatre, that's general, again, in any industry, in any sort of job you want to do. I feel like we're always looking at other people going like, why have they got that and I haven't? And that's fine, that's normal, like that is actually normal to be that way, but it doesn't mean like they haven't had to have the challenges that you have had. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, and that's the thing. We don't ever really sort of go and celebrate our small wins. That's something I'm trying to do at the moment. Yeah. Obviously, I'm navigating into a different industry, which is like completely new to me. And I've had to give myself grace. I'm like, do you know what, Connor? 100%. Like, if I write a crappy email, I write a crappy email. If I do the wrong thing, I do the wrong thing. It's fine. I'm just learning. It's like this podcast, for example. Like, I'm sat in my bedroom right now, guys. There's no like airs and graces. Like I said, we love a studio. I've had the ice cream man going off down there. Like mum and dad are living in the house, so there's like sounds left, right, and centre, creaking all over the place. Birds chirping outside, which are normally really nice, but they are doing my nutting tonight. But the thing is, like, I don't celebrate the small wins of actually going like, well, I've got a guest on board. I'm having a conversation. I'm creating a content that I think will help other people. Or like this week, all the little things that might not seem big, but are actually, if I went back to like 10 years ago, Connor would be like, 100%. What?
Like
we don't spend the time doing that.
The Connor that I met at GSA would not even dream of doing this right now. Like, would
talk about a hot mess. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, like, you always wanted to do it, but like, you were just like, you would have
always in my head.
You would have never put like the action to do it. So like, that's like incredible to watch you be able to do this.
Mm-hmm.
And have so much joy doing it. It's amazing. Like, just from like a friend perspective as well. Like, it's just incredible to like watch your journey of how like confident you've become.
Yeah, because it's true. I would have stopped myself in the past. There'd been some little thing in my head going, Connor, you'd be a bit of why would you do that? You'd be silly to do it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, you would have taught yourself out of it. Whereas now you're 100%. Just like, what have I got to lose?
I'm taking up space. This is my year.
Take up space.
I've actually just ordered a book today called Fuck Being Humble. So if it's good, I'll actually recommend it to people. But it's about that, basically, taking up space and promoting yourself and just being your own champion.
100%. I think we all need that. I think more of us need that, because we do spend, like me, myself, and I will call myself out for it, we spend too much time in self-deprecation.
100%.
Far too much time. And it, like, going back to, like, working last year, like, for the first time ever in a really long time, I turned around and I said, you know what? I did a fucking good job. Sorry for the language. But I was like, I did such a good job. Like, I smashed that. And I would never say that about myself. I was like, do you know what? I am so proud of myself. And I would never do that. I would never, ever, ever, ever do that. But you're so right. We need to take up space, and we need to take up more of it, because, like, nobody's going to work for you like you work for you.
You know, I say this, and it's like sometimes it's easier to say it than actually take the advice. But I have tried to be more mindful on the fact of, do you know what? I am doing a good little job, and it's not going to be perfect.
Absolutely.
Nothing ever is perfect. And that's probably another reason why this podcast has come about. Because for me, one of the reasons why I would have not have done this was because I'd been like, I haven't got a studio, I haven't got the time, I can't edit, I can't do this. I would have wanted it to be absolutely perfect. What's the point?
Yeah.
What is actually the point?
Yeah, like
we'll build.
Nothing's ever going to be perfect. Like, nobody's perfect. I know that's like a, nobody's perfect. I gotta work it.
Okay, I thought you were going to do the Jessie J version, then, which I was like, you should have done Hannah Montana, but you did the Hannah Montana one, so I'm very proud of you.
Sorry.
Nobody's perfect. I gotta work it.
Like, it's a journey, isn't it? It's the journey, and each phase of your life is gonna come and go. Like I feel like recently, like your mid-20s, ghetto. Mid-20s are ghetto. No one tells you how ghetto your mid-20s are.
Yeah, because you're supposed to have it all sorted in your 20s.
Yeah.
I'm excited for my 30s, because I think my 30s are going to be like my 20s, but with the money. That's what I think.
People say this. I've heard so many people say, they go, I'm scared for 30, I don't want to be my 30s.
I'm so excited.
Heard that your 30s is where it's at.
Yeah. I mean, the level of growth I've had in my 20s alone is humongous.
Honest.
And I think we put so much pressure on ourselves, and especially like the 20s, I'm thinking, like, why? What's the point? Do you know what I mean? Like, just enjoy it. Enjoy life. Life is meant to be lived. The rest of it all makes sense. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, and I'm trying to tell myself at the minute as well, like, for example, like, financially, that, like, money comes and goes, but time and experience does not.
Exactly. Money comes and goes. Do you know what? Obviously, I won't go into too much detail, but I had quite a significant life change this past week. I did a hot mess thing, but for the right reasons. And one of the reasons why I was actually going to do that opportunity was because I was going to get some money, right? That was like, I'll save money. But then I realised, I thought, no, it'd be funny, but I just did the job, earned it, saved it, and spent it. I'm not going to save no money, because my mind is not wired that way. So unless I actually... Yeah, literally, hot mess. I will bring on a financial advisor on this channel at some point to help people out. But
we all need it.
Literally, but I was just sat in my head thinking, no, I can't, like, just because it looks amazing, I'm going to say, no, it's not going to happen. Like, let's be honest. Like, if I'm going to do that, I need to really focus on this part of that chapter. Do you know what I mean?
100%.
And like, money comes and goes. Literally, is what I thought.
And I know it's hard at the time when you're in that space and you're like, I'm poor, I've not got this, because I do it every day. I'm like, I've got no money. But, like, the experiences I get with the little money that I have, like, priceless. You can't put change on it. Do you know what I mean? Like, ka-ching, you can't put no money on it.
Before we go, we've got a little segment to do, which is where I've gone onto socials to ask some people for some bits of a story or anything they need advice with. And me and you're going to chat about it and just give our 2 pennies worth in quickly before we go.
Absolutely, I'm ready, I'm down, I'm ready to be an agony aunt.
Right. This actually do you like Hot Mess Helpline or do you like SOS Hot Mess?
Oh, I like both. Oh.
I was undecided. This is very much still in the development stages for series 1.
Yeah, do you know what? I think I quite like SOS Hot Mess.
I do as well.
Okay, so this rhymes. It's like
it sounds
nicer.
nicer. I mean? Yeah, and on paper, I think I just wasn't feeling it, but I think when I say it, okay, so guys, this might be Hot Mess Helpline or the SOS Hot Mess.
SOS Hot Mess.
But we'll find out next week. For the next episode, I'll make a decision. I'm an Aquarius, so I can't make any decision. Right, okay, so you ready? Okay. So I'm 22, obsessed with my boyfriend's ex-girlfriend, and I don't know how to stop. I've heard advice like be more confident in myself since my boyfriend chose to be with me, not her. But what if she was the one who dumped him? She's my boyfriend's first love. She ended up cheating on him before breaking up with him. It really messed him up mentally and he struggled to move on. My boyfriend said I'm not a rebound and he's pretty much over his ex. I can also see he genuinely cares about me, but that still doesn't stop me from stalking the girl. Any advice?
Ooh. That's loaded. That's loaded.
That is loaded.
I feel like just as like humans and like creatures of nature, like we always like worry about like what was before us, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
But in the statement she already said it there, like herself, like he chose to be with her and like their relationship will be very different to like what he had with his previous partner. And like it's difficult because like you will always compare, like you will stalk and you will have a look and you just will like this. But the thing is about it, like they chose to be with you, like there is a reason that their relationship before did not continue, and there is a reason now that you two are together. Do you feel me?
Yeah, I feel. I think you just. It's again like we were saying about embracing the messy. Yeah. Sometimes like. You're not going to find... It's very hard to find someone who's not had a partner in the past, let's be honest, guys. Do you know what I mean? And you wouldn't want to either. I mean, although I've actually not really had a major relationship. However, topic another conversation. But I do think that person's had experiences and has grown as an individual. Yeah. For them to be with you, that's why they are probably the partner that you want at that point in time. Without that experience, they wouldn't be who they were.
And I also feel that, like, you need to accept that, like, there is a before you. If that makes sense. Like there is a before you. Hopefully there's not an after you. But you like hopefully you don't become an ex. But like you need to understand that there is a before you, and I think but the beauty about like a relationship is like she should be able to feel that she should be able to speak to her boyfriend about like his previous relationships, and they should be able to be open about that and about previous partners and things like that, because it then does give you an insight into who they were, who they are now, and do you know what I mean? Like, I don't think it's a bad thing being like curious and inquisitive about what did come before you. However, it's the difference of making it an obsession and becoming so obsessed with that you can't live. It kind of like sours your relationship in the moment you have with your partner because you're so fixated on what they had before you. Like, how can you ever get past that? Do you know what I mean? And you weren't even there at the time.
Yeah, I mean, they could have ended because she's cheating on him, but it doesn't mean that's the reason why they're not together. Do you know what I mean? I mean, and also stop stalking. That is not healthy. Not healthy. Delete, block. Do you know what? That's not helping you at all.
There's a gorgeous button on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. Get on it. It's called mute. It's called block.
I've actually not really realised the power of mute until very recently. Like, it's so funny, but people don't.
You can control the content you want to see. So, because I've been criminal of it. Like, not, but like I've done it. We've all done it, and you just have to. You got to remove yourself. I mean, just in life of like any content you don't want to see. Just good. You don't have to see it. You don't have to. You don't have to see it. You don't have to put yourself in it. You don't have to immerse yourself in it. And that's the good thing is stop stalking. Just anybody in general, stop stalking.
Ain't doing you any favours. It's not good.
It's not healthy. It's not good for you. And what do you know? One of the best sayings is you will only ever be a second class somebody else and a first class you.
I thought you were going to say comparison is the thief of joy, but I think I prefer that even more.
But also, comparison is the thief of joy. But you will only ever be a second class somebody else, but you will always be a first class you. So always choose first class, darling.
I love that. Yeah, always.
Always.
Don't stick to the economy like me because I can't afford first class. However, in my 30s. Right, okay, next one. I hate my job, but I genuinely have no idea how to leave or what to do. I feel trapped and just don't know what I want to do. Any advice?
Oh, it is difficult when it comes to like careers, isn't it? Because like you can get stuck in a position and feel like you can't move on. But the reality of it is like you have the power to change that. And I know that you feel like that trapped, but the second that you snip the barbed wire that is around your wings, you will soar. Like you will. It does get better. Sometimes, you know what? Sometimes it's got to get worse to get better, but it will get better. It will improve. You will find something else. You will fall in love with another job. And what did we say before? Connor? You are more than your job.
You are more than your job. You are more than your job. That is really tricky though. I actually feel that quite deeply sometimes. So I've been in situations where I've had to do things I don't really necessarily enjoy. But I think this person also doesn't know what they want to do, which is also harder. And I feel like sometimes vision is your gateway. Yeah. But I think that situation, if you hate it to the point where it's literally undermining your self-worth, agree that you should probably take a hot step out and go onto Indeed.com and find something a little bit more different. Yeah. But at the same time, I think that's probably the first step. Second step for me then would be obviously figure out what you want to do. But the only way to do that is to, I think, just take time to be still and listen and be present to the things that light you up, and then follow that. It's like we said
before, easier said than done. Life whispers, and they will come and they will knock you out in like the hardest way possible. Yeah. So it is. You just need to stop. You just need to listen, because we all go through it. Of I don't know what I want to do. I don't know what I want to do. But if you listen, it will be there. It will be clear. The signs will be there. Yeah. But also, just sometimes, just airing it, just getting it down on paper, like just speaking to a friend about it. Sometimes you just need that tough love of someone just to say to you, get your shit together. Yeah. You've got this.
Yeah. I think that's so true, actually. And I've also trying to thought there. I had a brain fart. I was actually saying in my head, I was going to say something really cool. Well, I said cool, but I don't think it will be cool now.
My moment's gone.
What was I going to say about that? I was trying to thought. Yeah, that's it. Sorry. Sometimes, well, you always know what you want to do. I think when you silence your mind. But sometimes you talk yourself out of the thing you want to do because of X, Y, and Z, because you've got financial obligations or because you don't think you're good enough.
Yeah,
that's what I was going to say. Sometimes you already know what you want to do, but you're too scared to take that leap to do it.
The actual action of doing it, sometimes you feel is scarier than staying where you are. But you don't want to get to the point where, like, the thing is, you don't want to live your life with any regrets. You don't want to get to a certain point and be like, I wish I just did this when I had the time when I was miserable in this job and I wanted to leave and I felt stuck. Like, if you don't take that leap, you're never going to know.
Yeah. And you will never change your life unless you change how you approach life. 100%. So take it, grab life by the balls and just enjoy it.
100%.
And that's kind of it, Maiya. We've done it.
Oh, that was so much fun.
Oh my gosh, thank you so much. We've had some crazy Wi-Fi problems. I don't know what's been going on, but
the Wi-Fi demons have been out today.
However, when I do my next episode with you, it's going to be in the studio.
Do you know what? Manifest it. Absolutely. It's going to be in the studio. We're going to have our move mics.
I'm excited for like the neon sign, Hot Mess Rising. It's going to be really cute.
It's in like cursive writing. I can see it.
Yeah, it's just there. Bish bash bosh.
I can see it.
Oh, it's been such a pleasure. God. And anything you want to say before you go? Any like last minute, spells, not gems of wisdom. Sorry, do you want to drop before you go?
Oh gosh, you put me on the spot there. Any pearls of wisdom? Find things in life that bring you joy, and always celebrate the small wins, because they will probably be the things that bring you the most joy.
Yeah.
That is it.
Appreciate sound advice. Follow your joy.
Follow your joy.
And embrace the small wins, and then embrace the messy ride that you're on as well.
Do you know, embrace that water ride, hybrid, roller coaster, Rita, you name it.
Right, being on rapids.
On the water rapids in the dinghy that's got a hole in it. Like, embrace it. Blow it up.
Embrace it. Do you want a little fun story before we go? I always remember as well, Maiya, in first year of drama school, when we had no money on a Friday night. So this is what I'm saying, when we embrace the messiness, everyone was going out for a night out, and me and you decided to stay in your halls, get a Domino's pizza, because we had a little bit of spare change left, and watch a J-Lo documentary on YouTube. Do you remember that?
I do in my dorm.
It was pure bliss, and that's what I'm saying, embrace the messy, because sometimes you just don't know where you're going to end up.
Both of us fit in my tiny single bed, for context, Connor's over 6 foot.
I'm 6'4" as well.
And I'm 5'2", we're both there
Memory I'll never forget. Well, it's been a pleasure. Thank you so much for being on Hot Mess Rising. We love you.
Hot Mess Rising.
You are very welcome. And thank you for being so open and honest. It honestly means the world. And obviously, having these conversations, I think, can inspire people to have these conversations and realise that we're all the same. We're all having the same issues going on.
But thank you so much for creating a platform where you can do that, where you can be open.
We're trying. We're trying.
Not just trying, darling. You're doing. There's a difference.
So there you have it. We've managed to secure some royalty, and it's only our second episode. Now, if you fancy even more unfiltered conversations, make sure you leave a 5-star review wherever you get your podcast from. Oh, and give us a cheeky follow, because why not? That way, you'll never miss an episode. And make sure to follow and reach out to us on our socials at Hot Mess Rising Pod for Instagram, or Hot Mess Rising for TikTok and YouTube. But until next time, remember, life can sometimes be messy, so embrace the messy, learn from it, and keep rising. Lots of love.